on here, please drop me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, but also I need your help. Let me know, do we have a good picture quality? Because from what I see, it's a great quality, but I just want to make sure that my stream is coming through crystal clear. So we're going to be painting on this canvas right here and using acrylic paints. This is a custom design for a birthday party coming up here pretty soon for a 13-year-old. So what I am going to do is we're going to hit play on the camera. On the laptop so we can go live on Instagram. There we go. All right. And I feel like it looks like it's a pretty good quality on that screen over there. So hopefully you guys are getting a great video quality today, but we're going to be using like pinks and blushes and pale green, and I even threw a little bit of turquoise, some cream on this canvas, and I'm going to be using water cup, different size brushes. It's acrylic paint. I've got napkins. So if you wanted to paint along, you could totally can you pause me? Maybe you can pause me on a live video and kind of sketch out a butterfly and then join along. So let's get you set up in the right place. I think I'm going to have to tilt you down a smidge, tighten you up. There we go. Maybe scoot you back a little so we're not totally zoomed in. Perfect. All right, here we go. So like I said, this is a special happy birthday painting. So I'm pretty excited about it. And I wanted to be able to bring like an example piece with me. Like I said, I've got different size brushes. We've got the baby, we've got the medium, we're bigger, and we're even bigger. This is a 3/4 of an inch brush. And then I've got some napkins in here. I've got my acrylics. Like I said, kind of a limited palette, but this is what colors, well, similar to this are in her room. So I wanted to stick with it. And then a water cup for cleaning our brushes. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I always like to start with my background first, but we're going to use this brush and I was thinking, what about a very, 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 very soft minty color? Now, mom said this does not need to look kiddish. She wants it to be very just like sophisticated looking, so that I guess she feels big, when she's painting this. So we're gonna try our best to make it look very elegant. So I switched to my big guy. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around the edges, and you can probably barely see that on camera because I was trying to go for a very soft, pale color for our background. The reason I always start with my backgrounds first is because I want to um, do background first in case I get a little bit of paint where it doesn't belong. This way, it's not too big of a deal. Here we go. If I get a little bit on the butterfly, because A, it's a soft color, and B, I can paint over it. No big deal. So that's one thing that's sometimes hard for people is knowing like, oh my gosh, oops, I accidentally got some on this or that, and them thinking that they have to like fix it before they can move on. When in reality, you just let it dry and move on. Okay, now that we got our outline finished, just kind of getting that little excessive amount of paint I had right there, we're gonna just sweep on our background color. There we go. And I'm going to paint right over those Sharpie lines. More than likely, I'm going to wind up hiding these lines for the most part, I think. Or I might bring them back with a Sharpie at the end. We'll just kind of have to see how it looks. I know it sounds so cheesy, but you want to paint what you feel. Like, just go with it. You might think you're going to start in one direction and then you totally end up in a completely other direction. So paint what you feel, even if it sounds cheesy. So we're going to start in the direction that we're going to hide these black lines, and then we'll go from there. So we just finished up a homeschool class, and we did self portraits. And if you've been watching my post on Facebook or Instagram, I've been posting the portraits that they've been doing this week. And I'll tell you what, it is so tricky to look in a mirror and try to draw yourself. Like I challenge you to use a dry erase marker and look in one of your mirrors at home and try to draw yourself. One of the kids did figure out if you close one eye while you're getting the majority of it done, it does help. Something about looking in the mirror that close, like plays tricks on your eyes. So I'm going around on this side and I'm doing all my edges. I don't know if you noticed that I got the top and I got the left. Now I'm getting the right. And then what I'll do is at some point, I guess I could do it right now, is flip it, or we can even just hold it up. But we need to do this bottom edge since we did our other edges. Now, some people don't paint their edges, and that's totally cool. Like, don't feel like you have to. I just like to because you can, like, if you hang this on the wall, you can occasionally, depending on like how you walk up to your art on the wall, you can see the bottom. So that's why I just go ahead and paint. And you can definitely see the sides depending on how you walk up. So that's why I paint all my edges. There we go. Okay, I feel like it's a pretty smooth background. I will say when I'm just trying to blend and go quickly, I use this, I hold my brush way back here and pretend like I'm sweeping the paint. And then if I'm trying to do detail, I hold my brush closer up so that I can have more control. So more control right where the metal and the handle meet, less control and looser the further back you hold on your brush. Now we could, I'm going to just take a little bit of turquoise. Let's see. And what if we just kind of get in here a little bit? Totally got that on the wings, but that's okay. Like I said, we don't stress in this phase of the art about what's happening because it can be covered up. Okay, so I was trying to just create a little bit of a shadow right there, kind of in this crease, or not crease, but you know, where the wings come together. And this side, it just kind of took over, didn't it? There we go. And then maybe we do just a smidge down here. There we go. Nice. Okay. And to me, that just gives it a little extra something, right? So now I just feel like it's not quite such a flat background, and maybe this butterfly is creating like a little bit of a shadow. It almost even looks like it could be like hovering above, um, you know, the ground or something. There we go. I think butterfly is a great like symbol for a 13th birthday. You know, you're blooming into your teen years and all of those changes that happen and come along with getting older. And so I think this is a good choice for a 13-year-old birthday. There we go. Okay. So now we can wash our brush. And like I said, you got to like really kind of give it a good bath. You got to smush it around in there. So I'm going to rub it around in the bottom of these cups. My neighbor's so sweet. He's saves all these cups for me anytime he goes out to eat. And then I have a customer that will run me in some every now and then. Um, so funny. She just like runs them in and puts them on the table and then bye and runs out. There we go. Awesome. Okay. So now we got all of our brushes clean. So now I got to think about how we're going to use these colors. And I feel like maybe the bigger part of the wings need to be softer. And then the bow needs to be like a little bit more bold. but I still think the mom's wanting everything to be kind of soft from what I understand. So let's get some white and kind of mix some pink in. We could even mix some pink in over here. So that gives us a couple of choices. We could just do white and like this peachy color that I made. I keep a bottle of peach that I made with the rest of my paints. Okay, so we're going to outline this time the inside edge. And since I am thinking I want to kind of hide these Sharpie lines, I'm going to paint over them any chance I get. So any chance I get, I'm going to paint right over those guys. We're going to go around here, and then we'll fill this in. So now I'm not using my biggest brush, but I'm using my second biggest brush, trying to smooth those all out, just like so. Again, I apologize. These are really soft colors. They may be kind of tricky to see on the screen, but I am following the mom's wishes. So right now I'm going right on top of those Sharpie lines, outlining just right inside. There we go. My studio is like never this quiet. I feel like I need to fill the space with sound. Okay. So I'm going slow and steady. Now this is part of the bow, so we're going to go down that line. There we go. Oh my gosh. Okay. Feel like this is about to fall off of here. Look at all this paint on here, guys. Do you see all of this paint right here? This is like, well, 11 well, longer than that. This easel is really old, but this is for sure 11 years of steady paint right here. I mean, it looks kind of cool. I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, no, that doesn't help, does it? I mean, it looks kind of cool, but it does get in the way. So set that back up there. Just hold on to it so I don't knock it off. Oh, we need to fill that in, don't we, before I start on the other one? Okay, so we're just kind of smoothing that out. There we go. Like I said, I'm trying to hide these Sharpie lines as best as I can. So guys, I don't know what I did to my shoulder, but holy moly, it does not feel good. And I'm learning there's certain things that really don't feel good, like painting. But that's okay. It's gonna get better. There we go. Nice. Okay. Now we can come over here. So if I hold my paintbrush where the bristles are kind of follow the Sharpie line, it makes a thinner brush stroke, right? And then if I hold my bristles horizontal, makes a thicker brush stroke. So that's always something to take into consideration when you're painting, like how you're holding your brush, how close you are to the bristles, how far away you are from the bristles, how hard you're pushing. All of that makes the big difference when you're painting. So if something's not working, try holding it in a different place or try being softer with your brush. All of those things matter. Turn your bristles different directions. Okay, so that, my friends, is the base coat. I feel like we probably need to let this dry a little before I kind of come in and do some of these. Are they veins? Veins on a butterfly? I don't know. This side might need smudge lighter. Okay, now, do we do this metal this color or bow color? I feel like we do this color. I guess if we don't like it with the light color, we can always go over it because we're going to make the bow darker anyway, right? So again, we hide those Sharpie lines. Hide those Sharpie lines. Fill her in. Go. A little bit of white in there. Maybe a little bit of white up in here. Although it's still so wet, it's not making a difference. Can't even tell I'm putting white on there, really. That's what happens when the paint underneath is still wet. Sometimes it's hard to lay wet paint on top of wet paint. There we go. All right. So now, hmm. Okay. This brush, I have a feeling, is going to be too big, probably, for the bow. So maybe we switch to this guy to work on our bow. And I don't know how much I love this. I think this color is going to be really good to put on the veins as they dry a little bit. And I feel like this is too pinky. I don't know. I just feel like it kind of clashes with the peachy pink. So let me get a squirt more of white. I love using white when I paint, and I never give myself enough. Okay. So let's use some of this and see. We're just going to do a chunk in here. Oops. I went right over that red, didn't I? Okay. And I just want to put a little bit of red in there at a time. So I know I'm making pink. I know. But I was trying to make a little bit different value of a pink. So this looks slightly different. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it does look slightly different. And I do think that this one matches that one better. So I'm going to get some more, do a really soft version right here. And then we're going to use this. Okay. Let's do this color on the bow. Okay. There we go. So this is quite a bit of white and just a teensy bit of my red. And I know everybody's reds are different, so yours might look a little different than mine. There's like a bajillion different reds you can buy. Okay. Now, if your canvas is dry, you can most definitely rest your hand on it so that you can have a steadier brush stroke. There we go. All right. There's two. Oh, and then we got to come down here because this is the ribbon part, right? That hangs down from a bow. Ooh, that is kind of close in colors. Now I'm gonna have to make some contrast in there. Now, if I really wanted my Sharpie lines to go away, what I would do is probably put a couple coats of paint on here. So if probably would be better to draw designs in pencil that you're wanting to hide the lines. But I'll tell you what, it's kind of weird, but a lot of brands of pencils, I haven't found one that doesn't, well, that's a lie. I did find one, but I have no clue what brand it was. It was like this special kind of pencil. Um, it was like real colorful on the outside. But anyway, it doesn't smear when you put paint on it, but pretty much every other pencil I've tried smears when you paint over it. So it's like, why sketch my design with pencil if it's just going to smear, you know? Hopefully you guys are still getting a good crisp image. I did my own little thunder design the other night, and I apologize because the video was so blurry and I have no idea why. I didn't change any settings. And the only thing I can think of was our Wi-Fi here. There we go. But not even our Wi-Fi here, because I'm always here lately when I do these live videos. I think it was just that night. It's weird. All right. Now we're going to come down this little ribbon. Remember, slow and steady when you're trying to keep a nice clean line or you're trying to do detail. You just kind of go with the flow, take your time, don't rush. Here we go. Oh, I might have grabbed more red in that. Better add some more white. I grabbed a little bit of extra red on accident. There we go. Yeah, see, it's darker. Okay. Now we got to add a little bit to the side. There we go. Yes. Oh, this is going to be so pretty, and I don't think it looks kiddish at all. Okay, so here's the bow so far. Looks a lot different, super close up, huh? This is why people, I think, get frustrated with themselves because of what they see close up is not how you're meant to view art. You're supposed to view art from a distance and enjoy it that way, but people like think it needs to be perfect when it's like right in front of their face, but that's not how you're supposed to enjoy art. Okay, so we're gonna go, I added more red and we're gonna do the inside of the bow a little bit darker. Anytime you can have more than one value of a color in your painting, the more exciting it's gonna look, the more interesting it's gonna look. So I am adding a little bit darker pink. It's not much, it's just a little bit. There we go, to do kind of the inside of those bows so they look a little bit darker. Now, because this is kind of up in here, we should probably kind of sweep a little bit of this darker out from there. There we go. Okay. And just for giggles, why not? Let's kind of go on top of these for now. We're going to do the top of that second layer of the bow a little bit darker. Go. And see, the more I go over it, the more it kind of blends in and it's not quite as noticeable. There we go. Gorgeous. Oh my gosh. This is a fun painting. But I love showing values and doing blending and making my own colors. And now, does it make it harder to teach? Yes. This kind of painting is harder to teach, but that's okay. It's good to have a challenge. There we go. Yes. Okay. Now we're going to take and we're going to make it a little bit darker. There we go. And we'll just do the body a little bit darker. My paint is already starting to stiffen up. That's one thing. If you guys make your own colors, make sure you make like a little bit extra than you think you need because A, you might run out, but B, it'll keep it a little bit thicker for you. And then it will glide on the canvas better because it won't dry out quite so quick. And then it's easier to use because once it starts drying out, it's tricky to use. Got to kind of get it wet again. Okay, now we're gonna go. I probably should be using the baby brush for this, but we're just gonna kind of Just kind of sweep down the middle. And here we go. So I kind of made the right side. Oops, got out of the lines. Kind of made the right side. There we go. Little bit darker, if you can tell, not much, just a smidge, just a smidge. And then what we'll do is we'll go over here. If the right side's darker, then that means the left side needs to be lighter. There we go. I know you guys can't hear it, but I swear I hear something over here to my left side that sounds like a little bit of a drum beat, but only every now and then. And I'm like, what in the world? Because I told my Alexa to turn off, so I don't know what I'm hearing. Oh, ghost over there, maybe. Okay, there we go. Yay! Okay, so now what if we go back to the wings and we put in that little bit darker um, value of wing color that we made? Remember, this is the one we used on the wings, but then I had started with that one and I decided it was too dark. So what if we use some of this? And if you have a really heavy hand, you might want to think about using your baby brush. So I started on the Sharpie. Now I'm just kind of, there we go. Just kind of thickening it up a little. And we'll go around the edge so we have a nice crisp edge. So I love suggestions on what you guys think I should paint next. I love getting ideas of what people are interested in because, you know, I'm sure not everybody wants to do what I want to do. So I love getting ideas. There. Now that makes a big difference. Like if you look at the bottom compared to the top, see the difference? Just adding a little bit different value of color made a big difference. Okay. Ooh, I'm always covered in paint when I'm painting. So we're going to glide on that Sharpie, glide on that Sharpie, glide over here, over there, come around. Oh my gosh, when I first started like really getting into painting, I would get winded and I had no idea why I was getting winded because I wasn't talking. Well, it turns out I was holding my breath while I was painting, like quite a bit of what I was painting. So I think that's quite hilarious. But it kind of helps, right? To hold your breath, like to keep the paint brush strokes where you want it. Okay, if you get a little carried away with a darker color, you can always go back over with an original color, which will then blend to make like a medium color. Okay, now we're going to soften these kind of harsh lines up. Oh my gosh, what is that? So what I hear over there. Very distracting. There we go. Oh, yes. Okay, now same thing over here. Follow the Sharpie. Follow the outline. There we go. Again, if your canvas is dry, you can kind of use your pinky to balance out your hand. All right. Now we're going to kind of come in here, smooth that out. It's not quite such a harsh line. Okay. Go. Ta-da. So again, if you get too much of one color, you can always go back with another color. Okay. Go. So I'm just going over those Sharpie lines. This is the same color as the background, but it just has more red in it. No, we put red in it or pink in it. I don't even remember now. Okay. Go. It is so windy today, guys. Oh my gosh. It is wild out there. Okay, let's go in with a little bit of that. So I'm trying to kind of clean up that harsh edge, kind of smooth it out a little. Same thing, kind of go around this edge so it's not a harsh line. Oh, I think I missed a line right there. Yep. There we go. Yes, please. So nice. Okay. Now, there we go. Okay. Now I feel like maybe I should have. Maybe that was actually background. I don't know. What do y'all think? Should I have actually done that background? Maybe so. Because I think it looks off to be wings. Oh, man. Okay, sometimes when you have oopsies, which I don't think I caught them fast enough, guys, I even kept thinking to myself, that looks off. Don't do that. And I did it anyway. But sometimes you can dip a napkin in water and kind of rub clean. Luckily, it's such a light color. I think we're going to be able to cover this up. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty dry already. Wow. But anyway, what I was saying is you can wrap your finger up in the paper towel, like this, dip it in the water, and then just like rub it clean. Then go to a dry spot and then kind of wipe the wetness off. And sometimes it'll work if you get it fast enough. Okay, let's see. My big head in the way. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we can cover this up. What do y'all think? I think maybe I like that better. How about you guys? But I could have kept it wings and just added like some of these lines and details and went with it. And I think that would have worked too. Okay, so there we go. Oh, my daughter just texted. She got it 100 on her MIS test. Woohoo! All right. That's exciting. She's in her freshman year of college. It's been a college is hard, guys. Like, at least if you're doing math, that's how my brain feels. Okay. So I went ahead and put some turquoise in there. Go. Yes. Yes. Okay. What do we think? Is that better? I think that's better, right? Let's do just a little little extra turquoise right under here. Maybe I need a smaller brush. Sorry, I keep putting my big face in front of this painting. Maybe I should have my stuff over here closer, huh? Okay, gotta have a dry brush with acrylics, guys. I'm gonna do as soft a touch as I can. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to put this as a class on my calendar. I think some people might enjoy coming to paint this. Yes. Okay. Maybe we'll come right up next to the bow, right there, and right up next to the bow. Oop, over here. You can use your fingers sometimes when you're painting. Okay. Just kind of coming in with a little extra turquoise down here, just to match what I just put in the center. There we go. Okay. Let's clean that. Dry, 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 dry. See if we can't put a little bit of this back in the middle. Yes. Okay. I think I like that better. I don't know how y'all feel, but I think I like that better. Okay. So now let's just add a little bit more to the bow. I feel like the bow needs to be emphasized just a little bit more, and then we're good. What are we going to do for the antennas though? Hmm, I don't think we want a black. Maybe like a brown, or they could be pink. Hmm. Let's finish our bow and we'll think about it. Like I said, sometimes you have to kind of feel it. Now, because I want this to glide, I'm just going to get my brush a little bit wet. Just get a little bit of water on it and just kind of run that into the paint. And sometimes that will help your brush kind of glide. I'm afraid it's gonna fall off of that paint ledge there. Ooh, too dark. Let's put some light back in there. We don't need it to be like drastic. Oh, okay. Shoo, shoo. Yes, yes. So I'm just going over those Sharpie lines. If you have a heavy hand, then you probably want to do this with a baby brush. But I'm using that medium brush. Go. There we go. Kind of, I'm just going to kind of crisp up the edges here by outlining them a little bit. And again, a baby brush would probably be better. I just love painting with this medium-sized brush. There we go. Okay, yes. All right. Kind of come down here. Boop. There we go. I think I was holding my breath, guys. I quit talking. Anytime I quit talking, I think that's what I'm doing, or I'm super concentrating. I'm trying to. Oh, man. It's like I really shouldn't stress about it because, you don't like it, you just paint over it, right? Just kind of darkening up this side over here just a smidge. All right. Maybe just a bit. There we go. Okay, now, uh-oh. Okay, I'm not frozen on here. For some reason, Instagram's frozen over there. Hopefully it's still recording. Okay, so now we're gonna just go with it. I need to dampen it again, so I'm getting it a little bit damp. Oop, that might be a lot too damp. So that way my brush will just glide down, glide down. Awesome sauce. Yes, there we go. Oh, wow. All right, guys. There we go. So see, we use limited colors, but we created all these different values with those limited colors. Just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. All right, my friends. Let's move you back over here a little bit. All right. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I think I'm going to put this on my calendar here at the studio if you want to come paint it. Or I'd love to see if you kind of make your own version at home. I'd love to see your version. So you'll have to drop a picture down in the comments. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you have a magical rest of your day and you have a great Friday and weekend, and we'll see you on here again soon. And if you missed this one, I did draw this in my last live. It was a bit blurry, so I think we'll be doing this again very soon. Go Thunder, right? So you guys have a super amazing day, and thank you so much for watching.